So basically, just wanted to share a little bit about my journey, how I got into health and wellness, where I started, some of the struggles I've been through. And basically, I started as an addict. I was in video games a lot. I spent a lot of time on my own in school, elementary school, and high school, and university. I would literally just spend about 10 hours a day playing video games. Anytime I wasn't working or going to school, I was basically just in front of a screen all the time playing video games by myself. I played a lot of Call of Duty, Halo, Guitar Hero, Rock Band, and my life basically just revolved around screens. Now, with that came a lot of unhealthy habits. So, poor diet. I ate a lot of cereal because I could just run downstairs to the kitchen, make some cereal and milk, come back upstairs and keep playing video games. A lot of McDonald's, a lot of Subway. Okay, a lot of times people think Subway is healthy and good for you, but it's definitely not. So that was my life. Very sleep deprived. I didn't exercise. I didn't go outside. If it was summer, like wow, I can just spend all day playing video games instead of going outside. So a lot of that kind of set my mentality into my early 20s. I decided to start making a change, and I started noticing different things about me where I wouldn't have noticed in the past. So as a child, I mean, now that I work with acupoints and Chinese medicine, a lot of people ask about phlegm, mucus in the nostrils, difficulty breathing. And I realized as a child, I almost always had my nostrils plugged. It was very difficult to breathe because of the diet. I was eating a lot of foods that my body didn't agree with. It was causing a lot of mucus to be generated in my nose. So certain things, certain pains, certain issues, when you don't have a system of health or understanding, it's very difficult to actually know that you're dealing with some sort of pain. If you're always tired, if you're always in pain and you accept it, if you're always depressed, anxious, and you don't even know what's going on. For me, I had depression growing up and I didn't really know what it was. I didn't even understand that that's what was happening. And I was using video games to numb and cope with that depression of the highs and lows. And as I've gone deeper into health and wellness and studied this on my own and its implications, I notice how the waves of up and down in life can really take a toll if you're unaware of it and you don't have some sort of tools to bounce out of it. So for me, depression was a really, really powerful thing for me to have, except I didn't have the tools to even recognize I had it or the tools to get myself out of it. So I say depression was a good thing for me to have because it was my body giving me the signal that what I'm doing isn't working. Because I was staying up late, I was staring at screens all day, I was eating a shitty diet, I wasn't exercising, had no real social relationships. My body was sending me this signal of depression, uncomfortable feeling, negative feeling, sadness, to push me to move myself. Imagine if you ate bad food, didn't sleep, watched Netflix all day, had bad relationships, no purpose in life, and your body rewarded you with good feelings. And it said like, wow, this is what we need. Send in more motivation to do this. For me, when I view emotions, I view it through the lens of it's a way for the body to signal that, hey, you're not doing things as correctly as you could be to benefit us in the long term. So if you're going through anxiety, depression, sadness, in Chinese medicine, there's no such thing as bad or negative emotions. They're all completely valid, and it's only a problem when they're prolonged or excessive in the moment. So prolong means you keep reliving the same moment over and over and over again in your mind. You keep thinking about some negative future event that might happen, that might not happen. We have no idea. And because of that, we prolong the suffering that we go through. So in Chinese medicine, we try to do our best to avoid that with my training, with my systems, what I've done for myself. I've gone through that process so that the ups and downs in my life, the depression, isn't nearly as bad. So now, at about 15, I started doing judo, and I actually got a black belt in judo. But at 15, it was like a really cool thing I wanted to try. I was a very small, skinny guy, unathletic, zero athletic ability. I'm like, you know what? I'd like to do some jiu-jitsu, some martial arts, be able to defend myself, to fight. And then a few years later after that, I started training to become stronger for the martial arts. And through that, I discovered, hey, I really like studying. I like learning about physical training, about mobility, how to get better. And so I went and did a kinesiology degree. So kinesiology is the study of human movement, biomechanics, anatomy, physiology, exercise science, exercise physiology, learning how the human body works and how to maintain it in good health. Now through that, at that point, I started coaching people. This was about 11 years, 10, 11 years ago. And ever since then, I've just been working and grinding on that craft to improve my ability to help people reach initially physical health. But as I went through my own troubles and own issues, I learned the importance of mental, emotional, and spiritual health and how to tap into that. So after graduating with my kinesiology degree in 2016, I moved to China and literally just moved to a mountain to go train Shaolin Kung Fu and Qigong. The training there was pretty intense. It was Monday to Friday, 8 hours a day. You would start at 6 a.m., you'd finish at 8 p.m. You're eating a lot of rice. There's not like much nutrition or real substance there to like take in. So I lost a lot of weight. I don't have much weight and I was losing weight there. And you're basically training all day. And during this time, it was extremely stressful. I developed irritable bowel syndrome from some of the food that I was eating. And after 9 months, I went back home and I had terrible digestive issues. Terrible. If I was eating, if I wasn't eating, it felt like glass was inside of me, just passing through me all the time. Constipation and diarrhea. If I had like a proper moving bowel movement was solid, maybe it was once a month. I was like, oh my God, what a great feeling to have like a solid shit. You really miss those when they're gone. And so basically, I went to the doctors when I got back to Canada. I got tests done. There was blood in my stool. Like, it was not good. So I went to the doctors. They looked at me. They put a camera up my butt to see what was going on. Fortunately, unfortunately, they didn't find anything physically wrong with me. And all the tests came back negative, but I was suffering a lot. And the doctor basically told me, like, look, Rad, you're going to have this for the rest of your life. There's no cure for irritable bowel syndrome. I can give you some medication to help ease the symptoms. And in my mind, I'm like, fuck that shit. I am not having this for the rest of my life. A lot of people, when the doctor says they have something, like, oh no, I have this disease, that disease, I'm going to have this pain for the rest. That's not me. That's not my reality. I appreciate the doctor's diagnosis and what they're doing, but if I accept it, then I would be stuck with it and there would be no way out. And because I'm a coach, I'm a trainer, I studied school stuff, it's like, I should be able to figure this out. And I was doing my best, but nothing worked to a full degree of curing my symptoms coming from a purely physical perspective. Through a series of events, through going to Chinese medicine school, I discovered how important emotions are to physical disease. In Chinese medicine, emotions are the cause of internal disease, that is chronic disease. Also, if you want to find out more about this, join my workshop. Either type workshop or click the link down below. I'm doing a free workshop on July 25th, talking more in depth about this stuff. Right now, I'm kind of going off the cuff, top of my head. I got a few notes here. But I want to structure this to take you through the system that I use and how I cured myself of IBS, as well as physical pains, a lot of emotional stagnation and problems. So I was lucky enough to have some mentors, some guides, some courses, some schooling that I took. I've worked with a lot of coaches. I've had 5 different coaches at this point to help me through my processing. But it wasn't anything outside of me that helped me fix myself. Because of video games, because of my addictions, I had learned to numb my emotions and basically suppress them. If someone asks, are you happy? I'm like, yeah, of course I'm happy. Are you sad? I'm never sad. I'm never angry. I'm never stressed. I'm always happy. Everything is always good. I was in extreme denial of what my body was experiencing because I was intellectualizing, like, I shouldn't feel bad. I have enough money to eat. I have enough money for shelter. So many people have it way worse. I am totally fine. But my body, on the other hand, was screaming at me like, dude, you're not fine. You've got some issues. You need to deal with them. And until I had a system of understanding, I do have some issues. I can deal with them on my own. And taking medications or doing external physical things, getting abs, getting ripped, doing handstands, like that stuff doesn't fix the deep emotional stagnation that is inside. And because I was young, I went to China about 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago. You know, I was young, I was in my 20s, early 20s. As you get older, your capacity to deal with that stuff is weaker and weaker. The body becomes weaker and weaker. So the older you get, the more you need that system to actually be able to keep things under control. So I was fortunate enough to discover certain practices. I don't want to say meditation. I think meditation is kind of overused in our system as a panacea to solve different problems. Really, the origination of meditation is for spiritual enlightenment. It's not to solve anxiety. It's not to solve depression. It's not to solve stress or headaches. It's for enlightenment. And when you pull little pieces out and try and do it separately, for me, it dampens the actual system. And most people are completely incapable of meditating. Why do I say this? Because for many years, I thought I was meditating. I did a lot of meditation. I wasn't meditating. And it's kind of like if you go to the gym and you have no idea what you're doing and you just read a book and then you go in and you're like, okay, I'll do some curls, I'll do some bench press, this, that. And then you kind of worked out, but you're not really making progress because you don't have a plan, you don't have a system, you don't have a coach, there's no one guiding you, helping you move through it. It's very similar in the spiritual arts and practices where things can become very complicated. Anyways, I went inside and I worked inwards towards my own issues, and my body started showing me what was stuck in there, what was trapped, and what I needed to work on. And this was a lot of stuff that through mental, intellectualizing, and thinking, I wouldn't have come to, I wouldn't have realized, and I wouldn't have been able to experience. One of the major problems we have in our society, and the way we were raised, and especially the way I was raised, is that we're not emotionally potty trained. So physically, we're potty trained as a kid. Hey, well, you have a stomach issue, something's gurgling, you're feeling some pressure inside. That means you need to go to the toilet, sit, release, and then wipe. Then you're good. All that physical matter you've taken in, that your body has used and now created physical waste, you have gotten rid of it. This is an important process. Same thing happens to us emotionally. All the time there's emotional things, ups, downs, positive, negative, good, bad, that are happening to us and getting stuck inside of us. When our body is trying to have this emotional dump, most of us don't realize what it is because no one taught us that equivalence of, hey, your stomach's gurgling, go to the toilet, wipe, you're good. And so much shit just keeps building up and building up over the years, creating tension and stress. And then eventually that just condenses down into one of your organs and creates physical disease. And that's what was happening to me in my intestines, my stomach, blood in my stool. Like, things were really, really not good. And originally, especially when I was doing my kinesiology degree, I didn't believe in energy. I didn't believe in like emotions, your mental state, all that stuff. And it took me time and gradual experience and understanding and wisdom to piece it together. So whether you're someone who is very on the spiritual side, understands energetics, or someone on the Western medicine side and understands the body, like, both are equally important. If we can use both and unite them into a system, then the body can really start to heal. And that's been a huge part of my journey, what I teach, what I do, when I host retreats, when I get invited to teach at retreats, is teaching how to go inwards and find the answers for yourself. So many times experts will sit there, write books, tell you what's right, tell you what's wrong. I prefer, of course I have an opinion on what's right, what's wrong, diet, movement, exercise, sleep, but if I can empower you to actually listen to your body, such that when you drink water, you notice that you feel better, your headaches go away, you have less mucus, your bowel movements are nicer, you sleep better, you have less joint pain. Not because I'm saying it, but because you're doing the practice and then noticing for yourself what it's doing. Same with diets, whether you do vegan, carnivore, keto, paleo, it doesn't matter how many PhD scientists, researchers, experts, gurus, fitness influencers tell you it's right. Man, for your own body, it could be the exact opposite of what is needed. And I'm saying this from experience. I've taken a lot of supplements, I've done a lot of stupid things, because intellectually I'm like, yeah, this is the biomechanical process and the anatomy and the physiology, this is what's happening inside, and therefore it is good for me. And then later I come to realize, like, fuck, my body was telling me the entire time this was actually not good for me. I shouldn't be doing this. Why was I doing it? And the sooner you can realize and recognize that a lot of the answers are within, and when you can sit and learn from your body rather than just purely intellectualizing, then the healing process starts unfolding for you rather than relying on a doctor or chiro or physio to do the healing to you. The way I like to think about it is a fire and water equation. So if we imagine your body as a house, and at birth it's a nice clean house, everything's working well. At 10 years old, at 20 years old, 30 years old, certain rooms start to catch fire. So let's say you start having urinary issues, okay, your bathroom's on fire. You have digestive issues, okay, your kitchen's on fire. You have basements on fire, your kidneys are having problems. And instead of immediately understanding, okay, this sign, this sign, this sign, this sign means my kidneys are having a problem, which is how Chinese medicine does it, or this sign, this sign, this sign, my stomach is having a problem. Therefore, I will do these practices to heal it right now and actually get to the root cause. What actually tends to happen is people try to pour water or medicine onto their fire problem, like the room that is burning, but instead what's actually usually happening is you're just removing the smoke alarm. You're covering the roof so you don't see the smoke happening, and then you're letting that fire actually keep burning more and more rather than actually extinguishing it. Now, on the other side of the equation, we need to add water and remove the fuel, because the easiest example we can use is someone with acid reflux. So you're eating spicy chicken wings, and you love your spicy chicken, but immediately you get heartburn. And because of that, you don't like it. You don't like when your body has heartburn eating the chicken wings. Then you take antacids or some sort of medication to reduce the heartburn. So immediately your body is telling you, hey, this chicken is fucking us up. And instead of stopping eating it, stopping putting fuel on the fire, we put some water to cover the symptom and then allow us to eat more of this thing that is immediately damaging our body, and then will continue damaging the body all the way down and through for several days. This is where people go wrong a lot of the time, is their medication, their medicine, their water is actually allowing them to engage in more bad behavior that causes that fire to burn and that inflammation to arise that eventually leads to even greater and greater diseases. So when we can learn that water is a huge natural healer, sleep is a huge natural healer, sunlight is a huge natural healer, touching the earth, basic free things that just aren't taught to us in school. I was never taught this in elementary school, high school. Shit, I have a kinesiology degree. They didn't tell me like, hey, go put your feet on the earth, get some sun, do some basic breathing, a little bit of movement. Like, it's just so mechanical. It's so deep on certain things that it kind of disempowers us in a way. People tend to think it's more complicated than it needs to be, than it has to be. And so I try to simplify it. Drink some water, have a nice morning routine, go for a walk. These are all simple things that we can all implement versus having to spend thousands of dollars on medications, prescriptions, doctors, physios, massages, chiros. Man, stress. That's the huge killer. Huge killer, stress. Whether it's coming in from your mind, from the outside, from your body. The crux of a lot of healing issues and reasons people don't heal is because they're not addressing that internal stress. When you can address internal stress and get to the root of it and start to reduce it, then your body actually enters a state where it can heal. So in nature, the human body really requires an immediate, strong stress response. Because in nature, we're either hunting or being hunted when we experience a stress response. Now, if I've just eaten a big meal and I'm digesting and my body's trying to recover, but a lion spots me, I need to run away from that lion. Probably that lion's gonna catch me anyways, but my body's like, oh shit, we need to feed those muscles right now, send adrenaline, cortisol, mobilize the energy right now. We don't care about digestion, we don't care about repairing the physical body. We need to get out of Dodge or else we're gonna die. So it needs to immediately send all that energy outwards, away from the organs, away from the brain, away from the heart, the guts, and prioritize the muscles. So when I'm sitting here in front of my computer and something comes up, it beeps, it dings, my boss this, whatever, that sends that stress signal. Those hormones are flowing through my blood, but I'm not running and moving to get rid of them. They're just sitting there, and I'm staying in a state of stress. The body must prioritize stress because in nature, it means we're being attacked or we're attacking and we need that energy right away. But when we live in a constant state of stress, our body never gets to enter proper rest and recovery mode to heal us. So if you're dealing with any disease, any illness, any physical pains, insomnias, we need to get out of Dodge. We need to get out of stress and essentially learn how to press the de-stress button rather than the stress button. Most of the things in our lives, staying up late, watching movies, eating bad food, not exercising, not going outside, this is hitting the stress button. Your girlfriend, boyfriend hates you, your parents hate you, your kids hate you. All this stuff is just hitting that stress button over and over. Being 50 pounds overweight, being 100 pounds overweight, having a mental negative thinking all the time. This is just stress. We need to actively hit the de-stress button. And now most people are hitting that de-stress button using chocolate, alcohol, drugs, Netflix to numb the pain, to get rid of that stress temporarily, which is great. I mean, we need some sort of system or tool to pull the stress out of us. But if all of our de-stressing tools are actually leading to long-term negative health impacts, then it becomes a huge problem for us in the long run. So having that system, super important. Click the link down below, type workshop. I'm doing a free human manual workshop where I explain in depth a lot of things that I never talk about here on Instagram, partially because it's pretty controversial stuff, very opposite to what most people think. And last time I promoted something like this on my TikTok, I got banned. Like literally an account with over 400,000 followers got banned just for the link in my bio that was taking people to my website that was like, hey, you can heal yourself, you can do all these things to improve your own health. TikTok banned me, so I really don't want Instagram or YouTube or my other platforms to ban me. So type workshop or just click the link directly down below to go there to sign up. Get to hear some of the other stuff that I never share here, frankly. A lot of the stuff I share here is, acupoints, quick stuff, versus deeper lifestyle, mental, emotional, spiritual health that is extremely important if you're trying to live a healthy life or recover from some sort of disease, pain, or illness. Well, that's my big spiel for today. I'll leave about 5-10 minutes if there's any questions or comments. I'm seeing Sandy on my YouTube one. Wow, this is new versus my Insta. Salut. There was a lot of stuff scrolling by, so if you had a question in there at some point, feel free to type it in again, or just type in workshop, click the link to join. I'll send you a message over DM if it's on Instagram. You're not going to want to miss this one. I'm spending a lot of time preparing it, getting my ideas together, really piecing things out so that you have a deep understanding of the major causes of illness and the root problems, and what you can do yourself without having to rely on drugs, on doctors, on diets, without having to do major life-changing things to heal yourself, basically. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure to click that, comment workshop. Beck Rob, hey, how are you? I am doing fantastic. There's no link visible to you. Brian, if you just type workshop in the comments, I will send you the link in DMs. I think everyone who's on my live is probably already following me. Otherwise, I don't think my live would show up to you. But if you're not following me, my DMs won't come through. So I just want to make sure I say that in case you don't see a DM from me. Message me and I'll send you the link to sign up. What's in the where? Comma, I'm not sure what you mean. Background brilliant. Yeah. Sandra Gray, enjoying the info. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Sandra. Where's the link? Just type workshop and I will send you the link. Actually, this is a little stupid on my internet. How should one start books routine? Deep Shika. Are you actually? Did you mean to type plant medicine? Yeah. We can talk a little bit about plant medicines. For most people, I would advise against it, to not use it, to do a lot of the work on your own. The risks are a lot higher than people will have you believe. I've done a lot of mushrooms myself. It was quite a journey and a huge part of my healing process, but I feel like I'm someone who's done a lot of preparatory work. I'm very confident in myself in those states. If you're someone that deals with a lot of paranoia, depression, anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia, if you already have mental difficulties, you're better off working through that on your own through some sort of systematic process. In my human manual course, this workshop I'm doing, I'll touch on the mental and emotional aspects as well as a lot of physical pains and kind of give you a hint as to my system and what I do and what I did for myself. But when it comes to plant medicines, a lot of times people try and do like these ayahuasca retreats. They go for a week. Ayahuasca, plant medicine, sacred ceremonies, they're not fucking tourist. It doesn't work, man. If you're not part of that culture, if you're not spending time with the shaman, integrating, understanding, and I've heard horror stories. You show up and you pay your money and the shaman does his thing and you're around 20 other people that are purging their emotional deaths and spirits and whatever. It's quite a risk to be in that environment with someone you don't know, who you haven't spent a lot of time with preparing in this process, and to then integrate it afterwards. I liken it to opening Pandora's box, seeing all the stuff that's you're suppressing for many years, looking inside that black hole and not having any strategies or tools to work through it. It's like, oh wow, now I know all my deepest, darkest shadows and I don't have any tools and I'm not going to change anything. So I'm actually going to feel worse now because I know what I need to do and change, but I'm not gonna. For me, it's not a good path to go down. It's been an important part of my journey and healing. I also didn't touch this stuff. I've never been drunk. I don't drink alcohol, coffee. I don't smoke. I'm very clean when it comes to keeping my energetics, my mental faculties, all this stuff. It took me a very long time before I did anything. So I was over 25 years old. So if you're under 25, I definitely recommend waiting for as long as you can to have like a really solid grounding in your human form, let's call it, in normal reality. Because when you do these things and you come back, it's like, oh my God, what is reality anymore? Shen tonics and cigarettes are good for you. I can, the hard part is the deeper I study health, it's like I can argue both sides, and you can find science on both sides to support arguments. Like there's studies that show that people who, people always get harped on for smoking cigarettes. So people that smoke cigarettes but exercise outlive people that don't smoke and don't exercise by 7 years. So not exercising is a bigger health factor than smoking. And smoking, not that I'm advocating for it or promoting it or saying it's a good idea, but it helps to de-stress you. So on one hand, yes, it's damaging, it's carcinogenic, it's destroying your lungs, but it's helping you to relax your system. So then we have to ask the question, is the added stress of not smoking or quitting an addiction or not having some sort of tool to decrease your stress worse than the act of smoking? So that's a great point to bring up. Like, even smoking, it's like this. Veganism, carnivore, there's always trade-offs, ups and downs, and that's why I always say listen to your body. If you're smoking because it's an addiction and you're using it as a crutch to avoid feeling and going through whatever it is that you're experiencing in the moment, then to me it's not that beneficial of a practice. But here's the other thing. Here's another thing about me. My teeth. I don't use toothpaste, and I just like straight brush my teeth with a toothbrush. I haven't needed to use a dentist for 7 years. I've been to a dentist a few times, and a couple times like they've told me, hey, you have cavities, and I look at the thing, I'm like, okay. So I've had cavities, they told me it, and then I just go home and it's like, I literally told my dentist, I think I can fix this with diet and nutrition, and they agreed with me. They're like, yeah, you can. Your teeth, okay, there's many different ways I can take it down. Let me try and keep it to what I was actually trying to point to. Your teeth, if you're gonna eat a shitty diet, then I recommend going to a dentist. If, however, you're willing to take care of yourself through good diet, good sleep, good habits, it takes effort, but then I don't think you need a dentist nearly as much, because animals are designed to live in the wild, to not have a dentist, to drill into their teeth, and the more cavities and the more dental work you have, the more you become reliant on a dentist. So I'm not being anti-dentite, for those of you who watch Seinfeld. I think they're important, and it's to the degree that you can take care of yourself versus needing somebody else to take care of you for it. That is my point here. So I'm taking care of my teeth. I don't need to go see a dentist because I'm willing to do the extra work to keep my teeth in good health naturally. But if you're not willing to do that and you're having other things, I wouldn't say don't go to a dentist. Same thing, like, okay, if you're not willing to exercise, get fit, eat real proper food, okay, go to a doctor and get your medication. That's probably a better alternative than not going to a doctor and getting your medication. But the real better alternative is learning how to heal yourself from within using the lifestyle and food to do that. So that is what I'm out here promoting. I've got my human manual workshop coming up July 25th, where I go deeper into this stuff, showing you how to heal. Again, there's some things that I just can't say on these public channels because I did get my TikTok banned at over 400,000 followers for not even doing anything, honestly, like basically nothing. And I'm like, wow, okay, you banned me for that. Great, thanks. So I try to share as much as I can here that I feel like I can push the edge to. So definitely either type workshop, or if you're on YouTube, click the link in the description. It should be there to sign up to my workshop. Yeah, we talked about some plant medicines. We talked about dentists. One other thing I'll say, your teeth are the hardest bones in your body. And if you think about it, if you break your bone, what do? They cast it, they line it up, and your bone heals. It recalcifies. If you have proper nutrition, and if you're not smoking, smoking really hampers the bone healing process. But if you're not smoking, okay, that's also why like smokers' teeth, they're like rotting out of their teeth. The bones don't recover as well. So if I break my bone, it will heal. It will recalcify. If you're eating food, the chances of things chipping and cracking and like breaking, it's a normal thing. Your body has to be able to remineralize those teeth and fix them. Otherwise, how could you possibly live past 20, 30, 40, 50 years if your teeth are just rotting and falling out? And for many years, humans lived without toothbrushes, without toothpaste. It was just a natural thing to not brush your teeth, and they didn't fall out. They lasted for a very long time, assuming you weren't eating a shitty grain diet. But that's another topic. What do you recommend for 58-year-old women for anti-aging? Great question. Gemini Light. What do I recommend for 50-year-old women to not aging? Just quickly, why don't you need toothpaste? There's nothing in there that actually does anything, and a lot of toothpaste contain fluoride, which is not good for you. So I just avoid it. I don't need it. I travel a lot too, and I don't want to carry it. Unless you want some minty fresh breath. It doesn't really do much. The brushing of the teeth, for me anyways, is just to clear stagnation. So I like to look at things through a Chinese medicine lens. We don't want stagnation in the body in any parts. So sometimes you'll see people like rubbing their skin, you brush your hair, you rub all over the body, Swedish dry brush. This helps clear stagnation, very beneficial. So for the teeth, same idea, clear the stagnation, clear the fuzzies off the teeth to help. So for 58-year-old women, for anti-aging, all right, all my 50 plus women listening, there's so many things you can do. And I was in the grocery store, I don't know how many months ago, and there was these two older ladies talking to each other, and one just had like a hip replacement or something else, and they're talking to each other, and it's like, yeah, I mean, that's just getting old. And in my head, I'm like, that's not just getting old. That's like a lack of knowledge and awareness and understanding of how to take care of your body. She was getting old, in pain, hip replacement. If that's your mentality, like number one is mentality. If you believe you're going to have this pain or this stiffness or this disease for the rest of your life, I guarantee you will, because you will not look for a way to fix it. And if you don't look for a way to fix it, it's just going to get worse. So wherever you are, whatever your snapshot of health is right now, you're either moving towards more health or less health. Now, every day I'm consciously doing things to help preserve the level of health I have and to improve it. If you don't have that conscious effort and input to your health, it's just going to get worse and worse. You never stay stagnant in the same position of health. So what can you do? Number one is drink water. I like to keep things simple. I almost feel bad about how simple and stupid almost it is, but like, just drink water. Put some salt in it, a little Himalayan sea salt, clean water. Avoid tap water if you can. If you can get, I like reverse osmosis filtration systems with remineralization. We want the minerals back in the water. This you can get for $200-300, and it lasts for quite a long time, depending on how many people are drinking from it. There's no brand that I recommend or endorse or affiliated with. Just look it up for yourself. Try and get something so you're not drinking city water, which is not filtered or cleaned that well. I drink 120 ounces a day. Is that good? So when it comes to water, that's what someone just wrote. It's not about the quantity that you drink. Okay, a bigger person, generally speaking, will need more water. A smaller person will need less water. The whole 8 cups of water a day is, let's call it an average. Some people are going to need 4, some people are going to need 12. If I'm sweating a lot, if I'm exercising, if it's winter now and I'm not sweating a lot and exercising, there's going to be a difference. If I'm eating salty foods, not salty foods. If I have a carb-heavy diet versus not a carb-heavy diet. So if I'm eating a lot of salts and carbs, I will hold more water on me. So my body's going to absorb and pull and hold more, versus if I'm having just a lot of meat and fat, I won't be holding as much water. So what the recommendation is, I drink filtered water, add collagen. Do you recommend that? I don't add collagen, but collagen, it'd be beneficial. And since you asked me that question, yeah, I would go for collagen. I prefer just getting it from meat sources. So eating like tendons, ligaments when I can. That's a really good source of collagen, but they do make it from like bone, bovine, gelatin and stuff. With the amount of water, it's better to listen to your body. So first off, in the morning, like 1-2 glasses, mandatory for everyone, I would say, if you're trying to be anti-aging, especially as you get older. What is the main thing that happens as people get older? You can look into other sources if you're vegetarian. That's not my specialty to see the collagen stuff, but I'm sure they exist. As you get older, you become more dry and brittle. So water becomes that much more important. But if you're not holding it, that's why we need the minerals in the water to help the body absorb it. You're going to be peeing it out a lot. So if I give you like 8 glasses of water to drink a day and you drink it all in the morning, and you're just peeing straight for an hour, you're not maintaining or absorbing that water. It's not that beneficial for you. So we want to actually maintain and absorb that water. So having the salts added to it, very useful, mineralizing it. And then paying attention. So if I'm peeing way too much and it's clear, I drank too much water. Once it starts getting too dark and yellow, I'm dehydrated, I need more water. So then you need to find for yourself and tune in as to how much water you need. But again, as you age, skin gets dry, bones get dry. One of the big reasons water is so important and fundamental to many functions in the body. And if you think about it this way, if you're not getting enough water, your body has to partition and decide where to put those resources. So it's the same for any vitamins, for minerals, if you have deficiencies. If I'm water deficient, then my body's going to pull water from my muscle tissue and my joints. Because fuck you, muscles and joints, we don't need you to live. We need the heart, we need the brain, we need the stomach, we need the intestines. Those need to take the water. So if I'm not giving my body adequate water, it's going to take it out of the muscles and joints. It's not going to prioritize those. And it's going to try and put whatever it's got into the organs because that's what you need to survive. However, if you want a skin, good muscles, joints, good organs, having adequate water such that you don't have that dry muscle, that dry tendon, the dry face, the skin, that is a good indicator that the organs and tissues inside that you require to live are being well fed, and that's a really important aspect, whether you're in your 50s or not. Next would be to go outside in the morning. This one is huge. A lot of issues stem from terrible circadian rhythms, that is sleep-wake cycles. So the way your body works is there's multiple clocks inside of it that synchronize hormone secretion. And if you can imagine it this way, if you have like your watch, there's I heard this analogy somewhere, I can't remember, I wish I could give credit to whoever it was, but you have a watch, and then you're in London, there's like Big Ben, Big Ben's got a time on it, then there's a train station, and you're trying to catch the train. If the train station is working on one time, if Big Ben is working on another time, and your watch is working on another time, it will be very hard to get to your train on time. So if all the systems in your body are not on one clock, then things are going to get very messed up. You're going to get a lot of hunger, you're going to get slower metabolism, cravings, a lot of physical diseases will start arising. When we can sync all the clocks in the body so that they all know, hey, it's 12 o'clock, we should be eating right now, we should be secreting eating hormones. Hey, it's 10 p.m., we should be secreting melatonin to get us to sleep, to relax, to recover the body. If, however, at 10 o'clock I'm watching stressful news and eating food, I'm sending the input that, it's like daylight, there's blue lights coming in. I'm sending the input that it's 1 p.m. instead of 10 p.m. And then the whole body's like, oh, wait, is it 10 p.m. I'm wanting to go to sleep, or is it 1 p.m. and I should stay awake and be active? Which hormones do I secrete? This is very confusing and stressing for me. So for 50-plus-year-old women, getting up in the morning at a consistent time, going outside for a walk in the sun, will help to synchronize all the clocks in the system. If you don't do this in the morning to like sync everything and log it in, then it's very easy for all the parts of your body to just be disconnected and not understand what is supposed to be happening in terms of hormonal balances. Then, of course, there's food. Actually, I'm going to skip everything and just get to actually one of the most important things as you age and for longevity and for health, and that is your social network. Like by far, as I understand it, your social network, especially as you get older, will dictate your longevity, your quality of life. If you wake up and you're 70, you're all alone, there's no reason to live, man, there's no reason to live. But if you've got friends, husband, wife, kids, loved ones, communities, reason to be out there, that will greatly play an impact on your role to stay healthy, to stay motivated, to get out there. Even if I drank all the water, I went outside, I ate the best foods, I exercised, I slept, and I was by all means considered very healthy, then even all that, if I'm alone by myself and there's no connection, it kind of destroys the meaning of life. So above all of those things that you do for yourself to be maintaining your health, maintaining relationships, connections to others is extremely important in terms of longevity and health. So that's my very quick non-scripted answer. Comment the word workshop to join my human manual workshop for free. It's happening July 25th. If you commented on Instagram, I'll send you a DM. If you're on YouTube watching, click the link in the description. You're going to want to be there. There's a lot of stuff I'm going to teach that I can't teach on Instagram for many reasons. I got banned on TikTok for just even sharing a website with some of this information. So be there or be square. Thank you everyone for taking the time to watch, sit, ask the questions. I'll give it another 1-2 minutes. Send the word workshop. This isn't in my link or bio or anything right now. So right now this is the only way to sign up. Unless you're on my email list, then you probably got some emails about this. Be there or be square. I'm spending a lot of time prepping this workshop so you can get the most out of it to really help you understand the mentality of healing, which is the first step. I'm going to say a lot of controversial things on there. What do you think of beef tallow for your skin as moisturizer? I don't use any moisturizer or skin stuff. I know people put it on. They use it like a replacement for sunscreen. Maybe. I'm sure coconut oil, if you're looking, because you said you're vegetarian, could be a good option. For me, sure. You want to, of course, do what you can from the outside, but the skin is a reflection of what's going on the inside. So if there's any skin issues, you don't necessarily want to cover it or heal it with beef tallow or something from the outside if you're not doing the internal work to fix it. So for example, if I eat a chocolate bar, almost immediately I get like pimples on my shoulders and a little pimples on my face. So that's my body. Realize this about the skin. If you're dealing with skin issues, there's only a few ways for your body to detoxify itself. So one is through urine, one is through bowel movements, one is through breathing, and then the skin is also a major detox organ. If you eat bad food or food that's inflammatory or something that's not causing good reactions, or you have stress, then your body is pressing that out through the skin to get rid of the toxins. So if your body is rashy, red, especially acne, pimples, for women during their hormonal times, PMS, during menstruation, that is like a detoxification, a way for the body to cleanse and get rid of certain toxins. So be aware of it. I've never put beef tallow on my skin yet. So far, I'm not opposed to it. Just observe, be aware of that. And if you're going to do something from the outside like that, I would also suggest making sure you do something from the inside. Also, a lot of women, when you wear the makeup and stuff, that's really not good for your skin. It's like clogging the pores. It's stopping natural sunlight from coming in and hitting. And that stuff can lead to more skin problems, even if you're trying to use a little makeup to cover certain things up. I get it. I understand. Just have to be careful with the balance of that to not exacerbate the product while trying to mask what's going on. Last time, comment the word workshop, join my free human manual workshop, July 25th. I'll send you a DM if you're on Instagram. If you're watching on YouTube, click the link in the description. I'm going to be talking a lot about physical movement training, like in regards to body pains. So if you're suffering with neck, shoulder, back pain, knee pain, you've tried yoga, you've tried stretching, you've tried exercise, you've tried massage, chiro, all those things, pain medications, doctors, it hasn't worked. My approach is much different from what other people will tell you and teach you. I really suggest you join if you're dealing with that. And I'll also be covering mental and emotional challenges, difficulties, my approach, my system to help heal that. So if that sounds interesting to you, if you enjoyed this live talk, make sure to be there or be square. Thank you, lovely peoples, and I will see you in the next one. Have a lovely evening, morning, wherever you're at. Bye, 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 YouTube.